Vladimir Guerrero Jr. said he didn't want his pending free agency to become a distraction, and yet it has become one of the largest storylines in all of baseball. As the truth gradually comes to light, it has sparked even greater controversy and heightened frustration among Blue Jays fans. The story has grown so large that even Vladdy himself is beginning to turn down interview requests from the Toronto media. People might see that as an attempt to stop any more information getting leaked to the public about his contract negotiations. However, that hasn't stopped Vladdy from talking about his negotiations to other media outlets. If Vladdy didn't want it to become a distraction, then why are we still talking about it? What's up, guys, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. In this one, I'm taking you through the timeline of this entire Vladimir Guerrero Jr. saga, including contract details, public reaction, and who's taking the big risk here. Before we get further into the video, I encourage you guys to go hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays Today if you enjoy Blue Jays news and content. Let's flash back to the prequel of this drama. We have to remember that throughout Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s entire career, he was a very inconsistent yet very well above average player. And it felt like year after year you'd see a new version of Vladdy, and it was hard for the Blue Jays front office to really put a price tag on what he's worth. Which leads us to this offseason, where the Blue Jays had one last chance to privately negotiate with their first baseman. Both sides were being very tight-lipped about the details of the negotiation process. That wasn't until Vladimir Guerrero Jr. spoke publicly about it last December. Vladdy was featured in a Spanish-speaking podcast, and in that podcast he says the Blue Jays' latest offer to him was not even close, and that he would be setting a deadline of February 18th, the club's first full squad workout in Dunedin, Florida. The next 2 months, Blue Jay fans waited in anticipation, only to hear on February 18th that the Blue Jays and Vladdy, they did not come to an agreement. And to add insult to injury, Vladdy said yet again that they were not close, which is an important piece to this tale. Did the front office not offer Vladdy enough? And how much was Vladdy really asking for? At this point, nobody knew. Regardless, Vladdy said to the media that he didn't want this to become a distraction for himself and his teammates, and in fact, he just wanted to focus on playing baseball and getting ready for the 2025 season. Yet, that didn't stop Vladdy from adding fuel to the fire. Let's jump ahead to the beginning of March, where Vladimir Guerrero Jr., in a Spanish-language interview with ESPN, he said that his final counter offer to the Blue Jays was for less than $600 million over 14 years. Now, the public quite literally exploded when they heard that number. Vladdy would be asking to get paid as the third highest player in MLB history, surpassing Mike Trout's contract by roughly over $100 million. This is where angst and division was created amongst Blue Jay fans. Some are thinking that Vladdy is worth nowhere near that amount of money, while others don't care and just think, hey, to hell with it. Just give that man whatever he wants. Now, from my perspective, almost $600 million for what Vladdy has done so far in his career, that is an insane overpay. For a player who had the 13th best WAR according to Fangraphs last season, that's a large ask from Vladdy. From my perspective, it seems like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is protecting himself from what could be the best outcome of this 2025 season. If Vladdy does go on an MVP tear and actually wins the MVP, then yes, at age 27, Vladdy could be worth almost $600 million in a competitive bidding war this upcoming offseason. Now, circling back a bit, why did Vladdy bring up this whole contract negotiation detail if he didn't want it to become a distraction? I've thought about it, and I'm honestly not too sure. The whole situation is puzzling. He either thought it wasn't going to become a big story, or he wanted to let the rest of the league know, this is how much I'm setting my price at going into this 2025 season. Regardless, if Vladdy didn't want it to become a distraction, he's certainly not helping his cause. So where does that leave us now? Hey guys, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below or click the link in the description to join the action. Available in Ontario only, must be 19 years older to participate, and guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. Well, Ken Rosenthal came out recently and said that he thinks that negotiations between Vladdy and the Blue Jays, they're not necessarily over. It was reported by the New York Post that the Blue Jays offered Guerrero a deal about $500 million. That puts the Blue Jays and Vladdy at about a $50 million gap in a proposed 14-year deal. Now, it may not seem like a lot to the average folk, but $50 million is very close in a large number like this. And honestly, I'm even shocked to see the Blue Jays get up to around the $500 million mark, so I gotta give them a lot of credit. So could there be some sort of end to this Vladdy saga before opening day? Well, personally, I don't think so. I think this plot is going to thicken even more as the season goes on, and who knows what kind of crazy details come out next. But guys, you let me know your thoughts about the whole Vladdy situation in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always guys, go Jays go!